The 150th anniversary of Robert E. Lee's surrender at Appomattox was commemorated on April 9th. That moment effectively ended his military service and his career. In this week's Bob Grebe's Virginia, we take a look at the next chapter in Lee's life, moving to Lexington to become president of Washington College.
Lee said goodbye to his troops and took off for Richmond to rejoin his family.
After surrendering to General Grant in the parlor of the McLean House, the commander of the Army of Northern Virginia began his civilian life upon returning home to Richmond, April 15th, 1865.
You can imagine what that trip must have been like for him.
Lee was a broken and defeated man, a man in need of rest.
He went to Richmond to really recover.
And that is where he remained for 2 months before moving to a small house in the country in the summer of '65.
In the meantime, of course, he needs a job. He needs to have something to do to support his family.
Lee was highly sought after. He was offered leadership positions at Sewanee College and the University of Virginia. The board at Washington College went so far as to elect Lee the school's president.
I think it's absolutely amazing that the trustees had the, chutzpah to vote Lee the presidency. I mean, after all, Lee was the greatest living Southerner. He was one of the greatest living Americans. Why would Lee come to this place? Little school, virtually no students, virtually no faculty, no endowment. The roofs were gone off the colonnade. The library was scattered. The scientific apparatus was smashed.
It was an act of desperation that Lee reluctantly accepted.
He inherited a school that was very, very broken.
And I strongly suspect that had Lee not come here, the school could not have opened after the war.
Washington College, or what was left of it after the war, was in need of a restoration.
40 students, 4 faculty members, a school that was in shambles.
I can't imagine the school continuing to exist without him.
And this is a formal document.
Less than 6 months after signing General Orders No. 9, Lee officially became the school's president, signing an oath at the Rockbridge County Courthouse, October 2nd, 1865. The rebuilding of Washington College included the school's facilities and grounds. The colonnade had been used as a hospital during the fighting. And just after the war, Washington Hall became a stable for the horses of the cavalry unit that occupied Lexington.
The place was a wreck, and he brought it back.
He set out to increase the enrollment and the number of faculty.
You can't do anything without money. So he had to start building the endowment and building support financially. And he did that. He did that beautifully.
Lee also updated the fields of study.
He opened up the curriculum, modern languages, modern history, and most important of all, practical subjects. He wanted the students to be able to play creative roles in the rebuilding of the South.
He strived to create students of high character, gentlemen.
He wanted to produce students who were good people. He also paid a lot of attention to their religious life.
The campus chapel was constructed during his time at the school and later named after Lee.
And I think he would change the name today if he had a chance to.
Ultimately, faculty increased from 4 to 20, and enrollment increased tenfold under Lee's leadership. He suffered a stroke on September 28 and died October 12th of 1870. Much of what is known about Lee's 5 years at Washington College is preserved today in the school's Special Collections Library.
I think in 1870, at his death, when the reins were turned over to his son, the school was on firm footing.
But the question of what if remains.
It is unfortunate that his health was very bad when he was here and that he didn't live longer. It would be very interesting to know what the school might have become
After Lee's death, the trustees voted to change the name from Washington College to Washington and Lee University. Robert E. Lee's son, Custis, became the 9th president of W&L.